What's going on, everyone? Week 14 is almost upon us with Thursday Night Football, so you know what time it is. I'm coming here at you again with my weekly NFL picks outright against the spread, and as always, my locks of the week in addition to that. So let's get right into it. Kicking off Thursday Night Football, we've got a pretty significantly important game with the Saints at the Atlanta Falcons, and this will go a long way in terms of determining the NFC South standings and also wild card rankings going into the playoffs. And definitely a more important game here for the Falcons. They kind of need to win out almost in order to get into either the playoffs or be in contention for the NFC South crown. Now, they did come off a loss versus the Vikings last week, tough loss, and the Saints did come off a victory against the Panthers. So Saints currently at 9 wins, Falcons at 7. If the Falcons were able to win this game, it would pretty much reopen the NFC South to some extent. Now, as far as matchups are concerned, offensively, I got to go with the Saints. Behind that running game, we've seen it all year, and especially last week, the Panthers weren't able to slow them down. And I definitely think the Panthers are a better defensive team than the Falcons, so I got to give the edge to the Saints offensively. Looking at Matt Ryan, he hasn't exactly been what he was last year, but that was expected. He struggled for the most part. I wouldn't be surprised if these struggles continue in this divisional matchup. And defensively, I think I would say the Falcons get the edge a little bit because it is a home game, but I got to go with the offense that I think is more explosive. For me, that's the Saints. So as long as they can keep that running game going and get Kamara and Ingram involved, I like the Saints to win this game. I'll go ahead, say they win outright. As far as the spread's concerned, Falcons are at plus half a point, so it shows you how close of a game this actually is. And I do think both these teams are going to have chances to win going late into the game. But again, since I do like the Saints to win, I'll also go ahead with them on the spread. I think they win by at least 3 points. Next, getting to Sunday, we've got the Indianapolis Colts at the Buffalo Bills, and I actually think this is a prime upset matchup. Now, we all know that Tyrod Taylor is questionable heading into this game, and we saw what happened last time he did not play for the Bills. Peterman went in there and lit it up with 5 interceptions in the first half, and if he's forced into that spot again, I think there's going to be just a little bit too much pressure on him, and that Bills offense takes a big step back. And defensively, the Bills have been all over the place. For that reason, I do think the Colts can go into Buffalo and make some noise. I know a lot of people expect the Bills defense to show up in this game, but if Tyrod Taylor is unavailable again, or even not 100%, I do think that that'll trickle down to the defense and cause them issues. So I actually do like the Colts to go into Buffalo, win this game outright. The Bills are favored in terms of the spread, minus 3.5, so I will go ahead and take the Colts on the spread. Continuing on, we've got the Chicago Bears at the Cincinnati Bengals, and to me, even though the Bengals will be missing a couple of key pieces on defense, and even Joe Mixon, I do still like this matchup for them. The Bears are woeful on offense. Just think about this. They're projected right now to finish the season without a single 500-yard pass catcher, which is impossible to imagine in this league that we are in nowadays. Trubisky, I don't think he is the guy for the Bears. I think they're way too one-dimensional. They're just a run-first team with Howard. And I actually do like the Bengals' front four with Geno Atkins and the guys over there. So I think the Bengals are going to be able to neutralize the Bears offensively and defensively. I think the Bengals defense is in for a big day here at home. And I think guys like Giovanni Bernard and AJ Green are going to have huge games. So I like the Bengals at home. Give me them to win outright. As far as the spread is concerned, it's minus 6.5. And I do think this will be a low-scoring game. I could see it being somewhere in the neighborhood of 16-10, 13-8, or something like that. So I will actually take the Bears on the spread. They've been a good cover all year, and I'll stick with that. Moving on, we've got the Green Bay Packers at the Cleveland Browns, and look, on paper, Packers are 6-6, Browns still winless at 0-12. Should be an easy victory for the Packers, but keep this in mind, both these teams defensively are flawed. With the Packers, it comes down to injuries. They are an injury-riddled defense, and Josh Gordon and Deshaun Kaiser, if they can get on the same page, can be in for a huge day. And I think if that happens, this can be a prime upset game. Now, I will go ahead and say that the Packers, I'm still going to take them as far as outright is concerned, because look, they're 1 week away from getting Aaron Rodgers back. I think the motivation will be there, and if they can go ahead and win out, they're going to be in play for the wild card spot in the NFC. And we know what Aaron Rodgers has done. Anything is possible when he's on the field. So I'll take the Packers to win this game. Offensively, they just have to go by their game plan, keep Jamal Williams in that running game going, and limit the mistakes of Huntley, and then limit the big plays defensively. So give me the Packers to go ahead and win outright. But as far as the spread is concerned, Browns are at +3.5. And for some reason, I think this game is going to get decided by a field goal. So give me the Browns to go ahead and cover the spread. Switching gear to the NFC East, we've got a divisional clash with the Cowboys at the New York Giants. And starting with the Giants, this is another week and another chance for them to be in the news. That's exactly what happened with their firings, starting with Ben McAdoo and the front office. Now, what's the biggest takeaway here? That's the fact that Eli is going to be reinserted back into the offense, and that is a boost for them. But on the other hand, the Cowboys are set to get Sean Lee back, which is a big deal. He's a big difference maker, and still breaking down this matchup offensively, I give the edge to the Cowboys. Dak, he nicked up his hand a little bit last week, but he'll be okay. And they did find their running game again with Alfred Morris. Now, I will say this, Cowboys are still at 6-6, still have an outside shot of making the playoffs as a wild card spot. So I definitely think this is a more important game for them, and I think they will keep that in mind. So offensively, I give the edge to the Cowboys. Offensive line, better. I think they have more weapons at this point. Defensively, with Sean Lee coming back, I'll go ahead and say the Cowboys, again, a little bit of an edge. So give me the Cowboys to go into New York and get this victory. I like them outright. On the spread, Giants are +4.5. I think that's a little bit low, so I feel comfortable saying Cowboys on the spread as well. Staying in the NFC, we've got the Lions at the Tampa Bay Bucks. And look, the big storyline here is Matthew Stafford going to play? And if he does, is he going to be 100%? And to me, honestly, even if he does suit up, which I think he will, and he's not 100%, I still give the edge to the Lions. I think with the Bucks, Winston's still a little bit rusty and getting back into it after the time he spent away. And the Lions offensively, I like the weapons that they have. Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, Stafford under center. Also, Theo Riddick and Green really provided a spark last week. And the Buccaneers, they're not anything special defensively. Now, I do think this game comes down to which offense executes better. And I like the Detroit Lions a little bit more. Offensively, them passing the ball scares me a little bit more than that of the Bucks. So go ahead, give me the Lions to win outright. As far as the spread's concerned, Bucks are at +3.5. I think the Lions pull away late in this game, so give me the Lions to win on the spread as well. Going back to the AFC, we've got yet another divisional clash. Raiders at the Chiefs. Both these teams at 6-6. Who would have thought the way that the Chiefs started out with their winless record? But that's how it is. They've just self-destructed the last couple of weeks. And look, I think this is somewhat of a coin flip game here actually, because both these defenses are so bad, and I think this is going to be an offensive explosion of a game. The Chiefs, they're without Marcus Peters in that already bad secondary. And the Raiders, they get Crabtree back, so that's going to be a little bit of a boost offensively. Cooper, not going to play most likely. But look, Lynch has played better and better these last couple weeks. I think he continues that role. But I will say this, I'm going to give the slight edge to the Chiefs because they are the home team. And I do think that's a very tough environment to play in Kansas City. Also, I think Kareem Hunt is finally going to have that bounce back game. If you look back at the start of the season, when the Chiefs were winning, it was when Kareem Hunt was balling out. Now, I think hopefully the Chiefs can identify that and shift the focus back onto him. And because of that, if he has an above average game, I feel pretty confident saying the Chiefs are going to win. Give me the Chiefs for that reason outright to win this game. But since I do think it'll be very close, Chiefs are favored -3.5 as far as the spread's concerned. I'm going to kind of hedge my bets and say the Raiders on the spread. Continuing with yet another pivotal NFC playoff positioning clash, we've got the Vikings 10-2 at the Panthers 8-4. And look, to me, the Panthers just are not as good as their record indicates. And I will say this, to me, they have two major flaws. Offensively, I don't think they have enough weapons, and Cam makes way too many mistakes, especially against good defenses. And this is exactly what the Vikings are. They're a dominant defense. Also, the Panthers, their problem is their secondary. That's their Achilles heel on defense. And even though they might be top 10 as a unit, that secondary is in the bottom half of the league, in my opinion. Now, the Vikings, I do think they somewhat come back down to earth a little bit here offensively. I think this will be a low-scoring game, but to me, they just have more playmakers offensively. Case Keenum does a better job of protecting the football. I think Diggs and Thielen can have a nice day here. I think it'll be probably a 17-10 game, 17-14 game, but at the end, the Vikings get the victory. Panthers are at plus 2.5 as far as the spread's concerned, but to me, that's pretty low, so I do like the Vikings to win outright and to win by at least a field goal, so give me the Vikings in this game. Next, we've got the 49ers at the Texans, and look, to me, this is my upset of the week, because with Jimmy Garoppolo offensively, the 49ers are a much better team. He presents a lot more of matchup issues for other defenses, and he elevates everyone around him. I think Marquise Goodwin is going to be a top 15 receiver finishing out the year with Jimmy Garoppolo, and the Texans defensively, they're injury riddled. Now, I do think that both these defenses can be exploited, and the Texans offense can have a really nice game here, but when it's all said and done, I have more faith in Jimmy Garoppolo than I do Tom Savage. So give me the 49ers in an upset here on the road to beat the Texans. I think it'll be a close game. Texans are at minus 2.5. But look, 49ers, I think they're on an upswing right now. Give me them to win outright and for them on the spread. Continuing on, we've got the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. And look, the Jets have been one of the most pleasant surprises in the NFL all year, while the Broncos one of the biggest disappointments. Josh McCown has played really nice, has been a really good game manager, and kept the Jets competitive. But for me here, I think the team that wins is the one that can put up more than 17 points. And right now, I think the Jets have a better chance of doing that. The Broncos have struggled offensively mightily. They can't come up with their starting quarterback, and defensively, they're not the same squad. Derek Wolfe might not play on that D-line. That's a huge loss. And I know Aqib Talib will be back, but look, the Jets have found ways to score, whether it be Curse, Robbie Anderson, in that running game with Forte and Powell. They've had answers, and right now, I'm going to go ahead and say I feel more comfortable with this Jets offense. I give them the edge. I like them outright. As far as the spread's concerned, Broncos are at plus half a point. That's pretty much almost nothing, so give me the Jets to win this game on the road on the spread as well. Moving on, we've got the Titans at the Arizona Cardinals. And look, for the Titans, very important game here. They don't want to be upset. At 8-4, they're atop of their division in the AFC. They don't want to lose ground on the Jaguars. And to me, this game comes down to which quarterback do you trust more? Is it Marcus Mariota or is it Blaine Gabbert? For me, I like Mariota. I know the Titans have struggled offensively the last couple of weeks, but I think crunch time, when it's all said and done, Mariota will be able to make more big plays than Blaine Gabbert. Now, defensively, both these teams can have their games and have their days, but like I said, Mariota over Blaine Gabbert any day, every day. Give me the Titans to win this game on the road. Cardinals plus 2.5 at home. I think the Titans can win by at least a field goal. Give me the Titans on the spread. Next, I think we have a really sneaky good matchup with the Redskins at the Chargers. Chargers are at 6-6, and this is a huge game for them because they want to keep pace with their division and whoever wins between the Chiefs and the Raiders. And I think they can do that. Look, the Chargers have been in a great rhythm as of late. Keenan Allen and Phillip Rivers have been clicking on all cylinders. Offensively, they've been able to put up points, and defensively, they've been dominating. They've got a good secondary. They've got a good front seven as well. And I think they can put a good amount of pressure on the Redskins. And with the Redskins, the main issue there is that offensive line. They've gone through so many combinations offensively, and to me, that's going to be the difference maker, because I think that defense for the Chargers is going to be taking advantage of the Redskins' offensive line. They're going to force Kirk Cousins into some bad throws and into some turnovers. And even though I think Kirk Cousins can dominate a game, he can only do so much with that shoddy offensive line. Defensively, I like the Chargers' defense more than that of the Redskins, so give me the Chargers to win this game outright. But I will say the spread minus 6.5, a little bit high, so give me the Redskins to keep it close, and I'll take them on the spread. Moving on, we've got the Eagles at the Rams, and look, this is one of the biggest games all week, if not all year. The Eagles coming off only their second loss of the year versus the Seahawks, while the Rams at 9-3 took care of business versus the Cardinals. And I'm going to be the first to say that I think the Eagles go back-to-back weeks losing, first time this season, and I think it's twofold here. First of all, they're staying out in the West Coast 2 weeks straight, first Seattle, now LA, and if you look at the schedule the Eagles have faced versus some tougher opponents, they've struggled. Whether it was the Chiefs earlier in the season, the Seahawks last week, versus the Panthers earlier on in the season. They did get that victory, but it was a close one. And I think the Rams are a better team than most of those opponents that the Eagles have faced. And to me, the difference maker here will be Todd Gurley versus the Eagles' run defense. Who can get the edge? Honestly, I think it's going to be Gurley. He's had a great year so far, and I think that continues. Now, I know everyone's going to build this as Wentz versus Goff, but I think the defense of the Rams is going to be able to do enough and limit the big plays of the Eagles. So I actually like the Rams at home. Give me Goff and give me Todd Gurley to get this victory outright. And as far as the spread's concerned, Rams are at -2.5. I wouldn't be surprised though if this is a 1 or 2 point margin of victory for the Rams, last second field goal kind of things. So I'll kind of hedge my bets again and say Eagles on the spread. Looking at the Seattle Seahawks at the Jaguars next, we've got a clash of two 8-4 teams, and look, to me, this matchup comes down to Russell Wilson versus that Jaguars defense. Who can make more big plays and who can prevent the other from doing so? With Wilson, he's been one of the league MVP candidates so far, no doubt. Despite of his offensive line, he's been able to get it done both as a runner and as a passer. I think Mike Davis and his emergence will also help the Seattle offense. And to me, the Jaguars, I think they struggle offensively even versus average defenses. And at this point, that's what Seattle is. I think they're an average to above average defense with some days that, they struggle. But to me, I think they'll be able to get enough done here to limit the Jaguars defense. And Russell Wilson will be able to get enough big plays on that defense as well. So give me the Seattle Seahawks to go on the road and get this victory outright. As far as the spread's concerned, Jaguars are at -2.5, but I like the Seahawks to win outright and on the spread. Getting to Sunday Night Football, we've got the Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens 7-5, Steelers 10-2, and at this point, I think we all know Steelers have that division locked down, but important game for the Ravens in terms of wildcard implications. I will say though, look, that Ravens defense has been the heart and soul of the majority of their victories, but now they're facing one of the most explosive offenses in the league with the Steelers. Even without Juju, they still have Antonio Brown, who's been killing it. Big Ben at home, we know that that's a dangerous combination, and then also the all-dangerous Le'Veon Bell. So with the Ravens offensively, they've been able to do most of their damage when the defense sets them up, and versus above average offenses, they've struggled. So for that reason, I gotta give the edge to the Steelers. I know they have some injuries defensively, but I still think they'll be able to do enough to beat the Ravens at home. Now, I will err on the side of caution a little bit and say, because it is a divisional clash, a very heated matchup, I'm going to say the Ravens can cover the spread. It's -5.5 for the Steelers. I envision a 2017 game, 17-14 game, something like that. So give me Steelers outright, Ravens on the spread. Finally, Monday Night Football, we've got the Patriots at the Dolphins. And Patriots 10-2. I think they're going to take care of business easily here. Even without Rob Gronkowski, they have a plethora of weapons. Brady's going to be able to connect with whoever it is, whether it's Amendola, whether it's, Cooks, Burkhead, Lewis. Also possible that Hogan is available for this game, so that's another big bonus for the Patriots. They're getting healthy at the right time, and offensively, they're going to be able to put up points on that Dolphins defense. Now, I know Miami coming off a nice win versus Denver, but that Denver offense can't even begin to compare itself to that of the New England Patriots, and Miami's going to have a much harder time. They got spanked the first time they played the Patriots. I think that'll be the case again. Give me Brady over whoever it is in Miami, whether it's Cutler, whether it's Moore, even if Moore substitutes Cutler at one point, it's not going to make a difference to me. I like the Patriots to win outright, and on the spread, it's a pretty high one, +11.5 for the Dolphins, but I think Patriots can win by 2 touchdowns. So with that, we come to the end of our pick'em games. Now let's look at our locks of the week, starting with the Bears at the Bengals, and I like the Bengals here for the simple reason the Bears are challenged offensively big time. They're a one-dimensional team. They run the ball, that's it. They don't air it out. Trubisky, when he's forced to, he commits a lot of turnovers. I think the Bengals are going to be able to take care of business. I like the Bengals at home. Next, Cowboys at the New York Giants. I know Eli Manning is back in this game, but I don't think that's going to be that big of a difference. I still like the Cowboys to go out and win. Sean Lee is back. Dak is, even though he was nicked up, he'll be okay. That running game looking like it's back on track. Give me the Cowboys in that offense to go ahead and beat the New York Giants. And finally, Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. Look, I'll take Brady over Cutler and Matt Moore any day. Whoever plays, like I said, Brady has the advantage. Even without Gronk, they are the team to beat in this matchup. Give me the Patriots. So with that, we come to the end of our locks of the week as well. So let me know what you guys thought. Did you agree, disagree with my picks? If you have any comments or any questions of any kinds, leave them as always in the comment section. And then if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in future videos.